And hello everybody, welcome back to another season of Prospect Football Weekly, year number 3, and we have a new star of the show. This is Coach Dan DeBuff, who came over from Johnsburg High School. Coach, welcome to the show. Welcome to Prospect High School.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. So previously you were the head coach at Johnsburg High School, a school with a Class 4A football program. Now you come to Prospect, a school in 7A. Do you think you will need to make any adjustments to your coaching style now that you're facing larger schools?
I think the foundation of our program first is culture and how we treat each other and the way that we work together. I think no matter what the size of the school, that kind of carries over. One thing I'm getting used to, though, is that pep assembly last week was about quadruple the size of what I'm used to, so that's pretty exciting.
Even though Prospect Gives Back is another month or two away, the team has been doing lots of community service this offseason. What does it mean both on and off the field to have a great relationship with people in the Mount Prospect and Arlington Heights communities?
Sure, yeah. Our number one program goal is become a man of integrity. So we're talking about becoming good people and serving our community. And a lot of programs will talk about doing that and then don't really back it up with opportunities. Our goal is to really give our guys opportunities to get out there and serve their community.
You also have a newly built relationship with the Arlington Cowboys football program, which you had a youth camp in the offseason as well. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, so we have a good relationship with both the Arlington Cowboys and then also the Mount Prospect Lions. We're working closely with both of those programs. Along with that youth camp, those coaches came out for a night practice, and they've also met with us a couple times going through clinics and talking about our plays. A lot of the success we had at Johnsburg had to do with our connection with the youth program, so we're working to build that here as well.
There's a lot of new faces in the Prospect football program, including coaches and players at all levels. How do you think they're going to impact the program for many years to come?
Yeah, I think our biggest goal is to celebrate the success that has happened in the early 2000s with a lot of the pieces we have. Even some of our coaches played on some of those teams. And then bring kind of our new flavor to what we're doing, and that kind of goes along with some of our new coaches.
You've been known to spread out the offense to 4 or 5 wide sets. How well do you think the players have adapted to this new type of offense after running run-heavy offenses in the past couple of years?
Sure, I think the players have done a really good job. It's a fun, exciting offense to be a part of, and it's fun and exciting to watch too. So hopefully everybody enjoys that Friday. They've done a really good job diving in and taking it for what they can.
Just like last year, there's a lot of sophomores that played heavy minutes last season, and there's a lot of sophomores here this year playing on varsity again. How are they going to be impacting the team this year?
Sure. I think our sophomore class is really strong, along with our junior class, who were those sophomores last year. I think those two classes combined have the opportunity to do some really special things for us, and they're going to have to be leaders at an early age for sure.
What is your goal for this team at the end of the season?
Number one goal is to take it one game at a time, but end game goal, we definitely want to get back in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach DeBuff, and stay tuned for an interview with player Jimmy Martin.
Welcome back to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. I'm here with starting quarterback Jimmy Martin. Jimmy, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now in your second season as starting varsity quarterback, how much do you think you've improved since the end of last year?
I think I've improved a ton, not only as just a quarterback, but also as a leader. I've learned a lot of leadership qualities over the offseason, getting guys together to lift and do offseason workouts. Especially without having a coach this offseason. Before Coach came late February, we still had 2 full months to get a lot of stuff done, and I feel like also Michael Chavez had a big part in almost being coaches for nearly half the offseason. So that was huge.
Absolutely. How do you think the transition into Coach DeBuff's new offense has gone for you?
I think it's gone great. Obviously, there's been a learning curve for me, especially because of how fast-paced this offense is.
Right.
But I'm really excited for this new offense because last year, obviously, offensively, we struggled. We only scored like 159 points all season last year, and that's not going to be the case this year. I'll tell you that right now. So.
With the year of experience under your belt, how do you try to be a better leader for this club?
Obviously, I not only have to be a vocal leader, but I also have to lead by example. So, off the field and on the field, I have to be, always doing the right thing all the time.
Right.
So, it's really important for me, not only as a quarterback, but also as, a senior, to just lead these younger guys and, show them how to do the right thing when they're seniors.
Absolutely. What has bwant the focus of this offense this week before the first game of the season?
It's one word. It's tempo. Going fast all the time. Fast, fast, fast. We want our opponents to be we want to be puking in the third quarter. Coach always says we want to take them into deep water. We want to test these guys out. Lions don't breathe underwater.
Right.
We gotta take them into deep water. We gotta suffocate them.
Right.
We gotta finish them off.
What does it mean growing up 6 blocks away from Prospect High School and playing opening night at home against a school that's only 2 miles away from Prospect?
It's like the coolest thing ever. Like, my dad played here. He wore number 10, and it's so surreal.
Wow.
Like, 30 years later, be wearing number 10.
That's crazy.
Also named Jimmy Martin. If you didn't already know that. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a dream come true. Like, hearing the announcer's name, like calling like Jimmy Martin, it's like a dream. I was hearing names like Miles Osei and Devin O'Hara. It's like, now I'm hearing my name. It's just like I can't even like fathom it.
Can't even put into words.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Absolutely. That's all we have for starting quarterback Jimmy Martin. Stay tuned for a special interview with assistant principal Frank Mirandola. Welcome back to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. I'm here with assistant principal Frank Mirandola. Mr. Mirandola, thanks for being on the show.
Glad to have you.
This year, it seems like more and more athletic teams and clubs are doing community service projects outside of school, even before Prospect Gives Back happens in October. How does that make you feel about the reputation of students of Prospect High School, both as athletes and people helping out in their respective community?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome that our students are getting involved in the community, because I think it's important for a high school to be part of the community and ultimately to learn the values of servant leadership as a teenager is a valuable lesson that's going to carry far beyond high school. And it really kind of forges a strong bond between the community as well as the high school. And so when students serve the community, everyone wins.
Absolutely. One of the largest groups at Prospect is the Underground, and this year they have already hosted some activities to bring students together and get them excited not only about the football season, but being at Prospect in general. Can you talk about what they've done to this point and the impact so far on the new students?
Yeah, I mean, the Underground really is kind of our student identity, and it gives people an outlet to really be part of Prospect High School. Prospect's not this nameless, faceless entity. It's about the individuals that create this dynamic and this robust culture that makes this really a special place and a special high school experience.
Absolutely.
And it was cool to see. We had probably about 150, 200 kids show up at the football scrimmage on Friday night, which was awesome. And a lot of them were freshmen. So for them to be kind of brought into the Prospect culture, it's really a positive thing. So I applaud the student leadership. I applaud the staff that facilitates the group. And it's going to be a big year for the Underground.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about sports in this show, but there are so many extremely successful extracurriculars that we don't talk about in our show. Can you talk about some of the different clubs that Prospect offers and how they impact the culture of Prospect High School?
Yeah, I mean, kind of asked me to name my favorite child there. But I think a couple clubs that are newer that I think is worth mentioning. We have Knights United. Knights United is a club that's a multicultural club, and they've done a ton of service. And it's also a club that just brings kids together. And great conversation led by a dynamic staff member, Maritza Rivera. And they're really probably the most active clubs that we have, and they're one of the newest ones. And the other one that's pretty awesome is Life at Night. Life at Night is not about athletes, not about musicians. It's about Prospect students getting the best of themselves, using good nutrition, good sleep habits, and taking care of themselves and others.
Right. You've talked about the Knights United event coming up on September 15th. Can you tell us what it is and who is all invited to this? Yeah,
so Knights Unite, it's something run by the District 214 Education Foundation, and it's an all-year reunion. So Knights United is a club. Okay. Knights Unite is a reunion.
Okay.
But so this is on September 15th, so it's the Saturday of homecoming.
Right.
And so it's going to be alumni from all over are going to come back, all ages. And they're going to come back, just check out the school.
Okay.
We're going to have past principals here, as well as our current principal, Mr. Greg Minter. We're going to have tours. They're going to be leaving in a half hour. And they'll have retro apparel. They'll have some memorabilia out for people to look at as well.
Very cool.
They've had these at Arlington and Forest View High Schools. And so now District 214 is going to the oldest school, which is Prospect. And so I think it's going to be an awesome day. There's already 3 class reunions that have already kind of corresponded with this one date. And so it's going to be a large event, and it's going to be a really fun event to talk and meet so many Prospect Knights.
Absolutely. Our final question. You were a longtime football coach here at Prospect, winning a couple state championships doing that way. How excited are you for the atmosphere on Friday night, not only for the team opening up at home, but against a school like St. Viator?
Yeah, I mean, whoever the opponent is, it really doesn't matter. The first Friday night and all Friday nights in the fall, it's kind of special. There's this kind of adrenaline and this energy in a building, and it's magnetic. I mean, it just creates this cool atmosphere. And you have students. We'll have 1,000 students out there, maybe. We're going to have a team that's going to be flying around doing some things, And so it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. And the great thing is it kicks off the school year with a ton of energy.
Absolutely.
That springboards us into a lot of other amazing things during the course of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. Our kids are working been hard all summer, and really well before that. I'm excited to see Coach DeBuff have his first game as a Prospect Knight, and I'm excited for our freshmen and everyone else to have their first taste of Prospect High School, not just Prospect football, but Prospect High School, and kind of what our experience is all about.
Absolutely. That's all we have from Mr. Mirandola. Stay tuned for a preview of the St. Viator game with head coach Dan DeBuff.
And welcome back, everyone, to Prospect Football Weekly. I'm back with Coach DeBuff previewing the Week 1 showdown against St. Viator. You ready for this?
We're ready.
Alrighty. St. Viator's made the state playoffs the past 2 seasons, playing in a really, really tough conference. How important is it to get off to a good start in the game on Friday night?
Yeah, it's important, but more importantly, our focus has really been on ourselves this week and the weeks leading up to this game. Our focus is how can we react to adversity when it hits, because in a football game, you're going to have adversity at some point. So our focus is sticking to the plan no matter what's going on around us.
How much does it help the team by playing St. Viator on opening night, a team that made the state playoffs last year as the one prior to that?
I think it's exciting. I think it's a great test for us. Where a lot of programs schedule a team that they think they can beat up Week 1. We're playing a pretty good program Week 1, so we're going to find out where we are right away.
St. Viator has a large offensive front, so pressure is going to be a key part defensively in this game. How crucial is it going to be to put pressure on St. Viator's junior quarterback, Jack Mahoney, who's going to start in his first game?
Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of the battle of size versus speed. We're going to have 22 starters, so we'll have nobody going both ways. St. Viator have quite a few guys going both ways, so we're going to try to kick up that tempo and use that speed to bring some pressure on these guys.
It seems like we've been talking about the offense a lot today. What is the focus on defense against a really talented St. Viator group?
Our big word is attack. Attack. So Coach Collins, our defensive coordinator, does a really nice job attacking the offense and doing a bunch of goofy things to try to confuse the offense. And as the offensive coach, we've had to deal with that all summer and all fall, so I can tell you those guys are ready to go.
Home opener against a school 1.9 miles away and a new-look Knights team. What do you expect the atmosphere to be at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium on Friday night?
It's going to be exciting. I think you can already feel the energy building up for the game, and we're going to try to harness that energy and use it for the good.
That's it for Coach DeBuff, and thank you to all our guests here today. And that'll do it for Prospect Football Weekly Week 1. We'll see you next week for the game against Hoffman Estates.
Righty.